And welcome back to Not Your Status Quo, the road to Infinity War with Thor: The Dark World.
Sounded like pillow talk there for a minute.
Well, I gotta lull them, because this movie was
Less than good.
to put it nicely. Also, remember, if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, click on the bell so you'll know when we post more videos, and of course, hit like on the video.
Okay, now we'll talk performances in this movie. I think any movie he plays Loki, Tom Hiddleston definitely was above the rest. I mean, the performances were good. I think it was more script than actual performances, but
They had to work with what they were given. That's what I was going to say a second ago. I like Christopher Eccleston, but you can only. It's the script that killed this movie. It's not the performances.
agreed 100%.
One thing I think about, I think somebody was miscast in the whole Thor series, and I think it's Jamie Alexander. I think she should have been Jane. Who am I saying?
Jane Foster?
Yeah, Jane Foster. She seems to have more of an enthusiasm for being in the movie. As we know, Natalie Portman doesn't want to come back. Seems like she'd be a better Jane, and then eventually she could turn into Lady Thor or whatever it is.
That's actually good. I'd never thought about that, but that's a really good idea.
That's just a thought.
You needn't have come so far, Asgardian. Death would have come to you soon enough.
Not by your hand.
Your universe was never meant to be. Your world and your family will be extinguished!
Okay, for the plot for this movie, it's very basic. I know what happened in the comics. Where they had the Dark Elves, and they want to return the universe to the way it was before the light entered the universe, and they're going to use the ether to do that.
Yeah, pretty ho-hum plot.
Yeah.
One-dimensional villain. I mean, even Loki's schemes seem basic compared to what they usually should be. I mean, spoiler alert for when we do our MCU rankings, I think this is the worst movie in the MCU by far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a majority of people feel that way. I mean, there's just a lot of not good stuff in this.
Yeah, is really not that much to say because it was just so. I mean, I found here going back to performances, I found Kat Dennings' character just annoying in this movie.
I have notes on that for other items and Easter eggs talking about Darcy.
Oh yeah, and Eric Selvig was just not himself in this movie. Stan Lee was awesome though.
Yeah, it is.
He stood out, and that's terrible.
Surrender.
Okay, other items. No, one thing I noticed about this movie, and Thor being different than in any other movie, is that he always seems like he loves battle. He really enjoys it. He's playful. He makes jokes. This movie, he seemed like down all the time, and that didn't fit with me either.
Yeah, a lot of poorly chosen everything, I think. I mean, one of the things I was speaking of from your last scene, talking about Darcy, that date scene with Jane and that guy,
Mm-hmm.
that was just terrible. And Darcy showing up just made it even worse. And so I was thinking to myself, who's worse, Darcy or Jar Jar from Star Wars The Force Awakens? And I'm going to go with Darcy, only because at least the Darth Jar Jar theory that's out there is at least cool and interesting. There's nothing cool or interesting about Darcy in this movie. She really just, every scene she's in, it just makes me cringe and want to turn off the TV.
Yeah, it's too bad too. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah. But we do got some good things. We got a Cronin, which is what Korg is from Thor Ragnarok. Thor destroys them in that early battle.
Yep.
We see Odin's ravens once again, Munin and Hugnin. And they're flying around Asgard. We see them in the Avengers. We see them in the first Thor. So it's nice they're kind of keeping that in there. They don't call out to it too much, but he's still there. And we get a really up close look at Heimdall's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And really look like the Soul Stone to me.
Could be.
But we'll see coming forward in Avengers Infinity War.
And they did. That's the first time that the Infinity Stones were mentioned.
Yeah, no.
Which was cool.
Tesseract.
But I don't think they mentioned it as an Infinity Stone at the time.
You're right. Maybe they didn't. You're right.
And what's his name? Odin. He was mentioning them all. He said, and they all have a solid stone form except for the ether, and that's that. It's a little speech.
Fluid.
Yes, it was just a small speech, but I was like, yeah, they're starting to set it up right there. That was kind of cool.
Absolutely. And we talked about how bad of a villain Malekith is. He's kind of one-dimensional, and it's even worse watching it now after we've gotten Killmonger and Black Panther, Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Vulture in Homecoming, and then even Hela in Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the villains have definitely taken an upswing.
And probably the best part to me in this whole movie was the Chris Evans cameo as Captain America, where he's playing Loki playing Captain America to Thor. It was good. It was funny. I laughed. Even Frida dying when she's killed in this movie. It's supposed to have this emotional impact, but she's such a minor character.
Right.
Nothing's there for it. They try to manufacture a little bit, with the Loki scene from earlier in the movie, but it just didn't work. I mean, she died. It was just like, okay.
It didn't seem like even Odin or Thor, it didn't linger with them. They were upset for like a scene,
Yeah.
And another thing I noticed was that they named Thor when he was telling Jane about the universe and how it was shifting into the what's that called?
Convergence.
Convergence. That they all the planets shift through Yggdrasil, which is mentioned in Captain America 1. So that was kind of a cool tie-in for me.
And is it Groot?
Is it? That'd be awesome.
Yes. We also, we talked about how Loki's plans seem pretty basic. I mean, in this movie, he fakes his own death to basically take over Asgard, impersonating Odin, but nothing ever comes to it after that. He's basically right at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. He's called out by Thor, and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a complete waste of time. I don't even.
I thought that was going to be a big thing going into Thor 3.
I did too. I absolutely did. And then, one of the things, Jane slaps Thor when she first sees him when he comes back. But then, she slaps Loki for New York, and he goes, "Ooh, I like her."
Yeah. That's the difference between the brothers,
Yeah. And then, the Stan Lee cameo we mentioned, he's in a mental hospital with Eric Selvig. When, if you look at the board, there's tons of Easter eggs on that board. It says like the 616 universe, which is the comic universe. It talks about Walt Simonson. It has the screenwriters in there. There's a bunch on there. Too many to really go into.
It was 2:25 p.m. too, and I forgot to look that up. Must have been an issue.
But, we also, Stan Lee is there listening to Selvig talk about the convergence. And if he's one of the watchers, he would be there because that's a pretty important thing,
Yep.
In understanding a human is basically kind of comprehending the convergence. So, and then he's like, "Can I have my shoes back?" We're back, just when you thought we were done. We're going to talk about the post-credit scenes in this movie. There were 2 of them in this film. The first one being the Sith and basically 2 of the Warriors 3 going to take the ether to the Collector.
This is the best scene in the movie, actually.
It was, without question. James Gunn did direct it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, probably why it was good. And if you've seen the leaked scene from Infinity War where Thanos is coming to collect, pun intended, the ether from the Collector, so we know he still has it. But the one thing, that I was laughing about at the end, he's like, 1 down, 5 to go. Yeah. So is he trying to collect them for himself, either for power or, to keep them from Thanos or keep them out of evil's hands? Maybe we'll find out in Infinity War. I don't know. And, we do see a sovereign cocoon in the Collector's thing there, which, if that was kind of a nod to Adam Warlock,
yeah,
it was cool. It shows, I think, that James Gunn was thinking well beyond the first Guardians, even though it hadn't been out yet. So, overall, that was one of the better post-credit scenes. And tied with Chris Evans' cameo, the best part of this movie.
Yeah, and I was really expecting when I saw it the collector to be the bad guy in the movie. I don't know why, because he's not really a villain, but and with the Guardians bringing him that second stone, like he really was racking it up, but we don't know about that yet, right?
No, it hasn't happened yet.
Not for two more movies. But it's funny that, all right, as we wrap this up, Phase 2 just kind of got off to a sputter with those first two movies, but then it's followed by what we're doing next time. Just tune in. Is probably one of the best movies in the whole MCU.
I definitely agree. We'll be doing Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and then even after that, foreshadowing 2 weeks from now, is Guardians of the Galaxy. Two of the better movies in the MCU. So, like you said, it started off with a sputter, but it definitely picked up steam.